So this video response is for Luan. What do you think the use of medicines like ayahuasca or psilocybin could influence in our own perspective? So that's a really good question. Plant medicines like ayahuasca, psilocybin, mushrooms, LSD, combo, and the list goes on. They definitely give you a new perspective. Let me talk about the good side first, and then let's go on the downside. All right. So the good side, I think, for everybody is trying plant medicines. You already know. You know, it's like, well, what's good? Well, you feel awesome, right? You feel awesome. You feel free. You feel liberated, for the most part. Okay, for the most part. But what's the downside on that? One of them is just like any other substance, just like alcohol, for example. You drink and you get drunk, right? You get buzzed, and you start to desire that feeling. You start to desire that state. And can you get buzzed without alcohol? You know, can you get drunk without alcohol? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. So then what do is then you start to want to do it more often. And this is also something that happens with plant medicines. We do it for a good intention, but we start to get drawn to experiencing that new perspective, wanting to experience that state of liberation, which then gets us to want to do plant medicine over and over and over. And then we come up with reasons to want to go somewhere in South America, to go spend 3 months in the jungle and just do them back to back to back until whatever happens after that. So that may not be the best route for everybody. Okay, and I say that because sometimes that's the path for somebody. And it's all good, but may not be that for everybody. But this is something to watch out for. Okay, is getting addicted to that feeling and into that state. So the way I would use plant medicines is, number one, don't do it all the time. You have an experience, and now you know that there's a new way, a new perspective to see yourself and to see your life. That's really good. That is awesome. But don't think that I'm just going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. Every time that you do plant medicine, you need to make sure you're doing it for the right intentions. The first time I did plant medicine, the shaman told me this. He's like, make sure you're doing it with intention. Because if not, you're just using drugs. Okay? You're just using drugs and getting fucked up. That's what you're doing. And we're all sitting there about to go and put down the ayahuasca. Okay? And I always remember that because I realized, yes, you're right. If I'm take this and I get really, really messed up and I'm just enjoying it and having a good time and see what happens, this is not medicine anymore. This is just some recreational substance to have a good time for a while. So you gotta have really, really strong intentions when you're doing it. If not, I swear, man, this is gonna become this addictive thing. You're gonna come up with all the reasons on why you wanna do it until you realize that, wow, I think I may have an issue. I think I may now using it as a recreational thing. Okay, this happens to people. So have a very, very strong intention. Be prepared. That also means you got to clean out your body, no matter if you're doing mushrooms or if you're doing ayahuasca, if you're doing anything else. Okay, you got to clean out your body. You got to get rid of stuff like caffeine, you know, and stop eating so much oily foods and decrease the salt. There's a whole list of stuff. Prepare your body. Set a clear intention. Why is that important? When you're under the influence of some type of psychedelic, you're not going to remember very well what you were supposed to do because you're going to be in a different state of mind. Your energy shifted. So before getting into that state, you got to be very, very clear, be very, very prepared on why you're doing it. Because the moment that you do it, you will most likely forget if you didn't get very crystal clear. You're going to forget. Everything's going to feel fun, and you're going to dance around and hug everybody and do all this stuff, and life is great, have some realizations, and then fast forward it, a few days later, you'll be back to normal. And you just remember that you felt really great then, but now you can't seem to see any different. You're back to your normal life. When you're using a psychedelic, now when you're actually in the state, you know, under the influence, you can remember that intention because you're very, very clear on it and you prepared for it. You didn't just go, hey, I'm going to do this. Okay, let's do it. No, you prepared for days and maybe sometimes even weeks. This way it got really ingrained inside of you. So now when you're high in that state, you can go ahead and do what your intention is. If your intention is, I want to go ahead and dive in and find out a certain aspect of myself, or I want to release this thing that doesn't serve me anymore, then now when you're in this state, you're going to do that. And now you can take advantage of the fact that you're in a different perspective and you can see all the stuff that you couldn't see. You could be able to release the things that you couldn't release because you're in a new perspective and your energy has changed, which means the emotion, the energy that was grounding this old belief has changed completely at that moment. So now you can put in a new belief, get really, really, really crystal clear on this new belief, this new perspective, and then now you can ground this one. You can anchor it, and the way you do it is by getting very clear and thinking about this over and over and over and over and getting so clear of this new belief to the point to that you are literally imprinting a new belief into your mind. Imprinting a new belief into your mind while you are in a elevated state. If you do this, then you don't need so many constant rounds of psychedelics. But this takes a lot of effort because when you're high and you're kicking back and life is so great and everything's so funny, you have to be very, very disciplined and very intentional because you can just kick your feet back and just kind of enjoy it, and now you're just using drugs. So that's my advice on that, okay? Be responsible when you take it. Oh, and one more thing. You got to integrate afterwards because sometimes people get in, they have these awesome experiences, and then they don't have any support and they come out and now life is just really, really, really confusing because you're in this whole you're back into your normal life, but you just got into this plant medicine and everything is like just totally different world, okay? Integration is so important. I've experienced this to where there's times I didn't integrate and just sucked for a while. So you got to integrate back in. That's another thing that's important. Make sure that whoever you're doing it with can support you on that, or prepare for it yourself. Bare minimum is the day after you're done with your trip, with your experience, see if you can take 1 to 2 days off. So this way, during that time, you can kind of chill out. You can kind of process what you experience. Process that new belief that you imprinted, into your mind. Process what you just released. If you just go right back into work and right back into your life, then you don't have a chance to be aware of what you even did. And therefore, your old thoughts come back in, and everything just kind of starts running back in, like the old hamster wheel starts running. Okay, so give your time to process and to integrate. That was a great question. Thank you for posting that. And if you guys enjoy this video, thumbs up, and also comment below. And let me know if you have any other videos or any topics or questions you'd like me to speak on. So make sure to subscribe, hit the notification. Thanks for watching.